it's Ava Fiore from Cleats and Cleavage, and I'm going to be posting on here now. I'm also going to still be doing all my social media. I have my Snapchat, Ava Fiore. I have my Twitter, Cleats and Cleavage, and my Periscope is attached to that. But as you know, my Instagram has been disabled temporarily. I'm working on getting it back, so don't worry. But I would like to do some more videos on here. One of the reasons why is because I get a lot of questions asked about fantasy football, regular football, NHL, MLB, NBA, whatever it may be. And I can't answer all your questions because I don't see them all. So a good way to reach me is you guys can reach me on my Twitter, which is at Cleats and Cleavage, at Cleats Cleavage, not and, at Cleats Cleavage. Take the and out of it. And you will find me on there, and you can at me, send me a question, or in my email, ava@cleatsandcleavage.com. Those go through my agent, but if it's a sports-related question, he will go ahead and filter it on down to me. And I want to be able to answer as many questions as possible on here. So I'm going to come on a couple times a week, and whatever your questions may be, as long as it's sports-related, I will answer it, and I will do videos and just say, hey, so-and-so had a question about this, that, and the other. So hopefully I cover as many questions as possible, because I really want to make it so that you followers can actually be able to interact with me somewhat, okay? So we're going to talk about some news coming out. Teddy Bridgewater, unfortunately, he had an ACL tear. There was some structural damage, but no nerve damage, so good news on that part, even though obviously, you know, the road to recovery with an ACL tear is never a good outlook. There is an upside for Mark Sanchez in the whole mix of this, because Denver Broncos announced that they were not going to be going with him, and they also announced that if they did not trade him within the next 24 to 48 hours, that they were most likely going to cut him. That being said, the timing of it, obviously, now looks like the Vikings are more than likely going to go after Mark Sanchez, and that they are willing to pay the $4.5 million salary that he's going to have this year. So if that ends up working out for Sanchez, he should thank his lucky stars on that one. He would be really, really in a good position. Okay, so another situation we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Kaepernick. And I addressed this a little bit in my Periscope, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm not politically correct anyways, but I just want to kind of clarify what I meant and go from there. And I also want to talk about some of what the NFL execs said about it. So with Kaepernick, I believe there's a place and a time to address all issues. And I think Black Lives Matter is a very important issue. And I do appreciate the way Carmelo Anthony did it, and a lot of other athletes did it. I think they did it great. I think for Kaepernick, it's become a little bit of a distraction. It's taking away from the real cause of what he's trying to support. So I kind of feel like he's putting himself in a position that most likely he's going to get cut from the 49ers anyway. Take all the anthem stuff out of the picture. He's most likely going to get cut from the 49ers anyway, just talent based. And what he's doing is he's kind of creating so much of a distraction that he may not actually get picked up by another team, because a lot of the NFL execs now, it's been coming out that they are really pissed off at what he's doing. And I understand everybody has a right. It's, you know, this is why we live in America. We have the freedom of speech, and we can say whatever it is that we want to say and back whatever beliefs we want to back. But their belief over at the NFL, what they're saying is that it's becoming too much of a distraction for the front office, and they're just getting inundated with phone calls, and it's become a fiasco. One NFL exec went on to say, F that guy. I would rather resign than play him on the field. One of them called him a traitor. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of hatred going towards him over his actions. I think that's going to make it really hard for him if he does get cut, which is looking very favorable at this point, to get picked up by another team just because of the distraction. So I think on a career choice, I think, you know, maybe he should have addressed it a little bit differently. And that's hard to say because, you know, when you believe in something, you obviously want to just voice your opinion. But it's also one of those things where you have to do it at the right place, right time. So I'll leave it at that. You know, obviously everybody's got an opinion in that situation. With Antonia Brown, well, he reworked his deal, so I'm sure he's amped about this. $8.975 million signing bonus, and he gets 1.2 base, which that's awesome. Total of $10 million salary this year, and he's worth every damn penny, right? Though I didn't go with him for my fantasy football team. I went with somebody else. All right. The ridiculous story of the day, which I have to kind of bring this in here. Actually, you know what? I'll do the ridiculous story last. Let's talk about some other footy news. And for those of you guys who follow football overseas, or i.e. in America, we call it soccer, some stuff has happened today. Sevilla signed Man City's Samir, which... Now they get him for a season-long loan. Roma, they agreed to the terms with Arsenal's Jack Wilshere over the loan move. And good old Joe Hart. Kind of felt bad for Joe. It was a rough situation he was in. But formerly of Man City, now of Torino. And he's on a one-year loan. So after all that debacle, that's where he's heading off. He can have salami Sundays over there at Torino in Italy. So good for him. At least he's joining the Serie A, right? So the ridiculous story of the day comes with Mike Tyson apparently was at the U.S. Open with his daughter. And this is all allegedly, and this is by the concession stand worker who was working the ice cream stand, and said Mike Tyson literally walked by and said, "I want that ice cream," and grabbed some Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And they said, "Well, are you going to pay for it? It's $5.50. And he just walked away. And they interviewed the guy afterwards, and he basically said, "Well, I mean, I asked him about it, and he walked away. What am I going to do? Am I going to fight Mike Tyson? I mean, over ice cream?" He's like, "Hell no, I'm going to get my ass kicked," right? So Mike Tyson hasn't commented on the story yet, but I think it's pretty funny. The manager, when they asked the manager if they should go chase after him, he's like, "Are you kidding? It's Mike Tyson. Let him have the ice cream." I met Mike actually a couple years ago. He is so crazy in person. He's got a great personality, and I actually really like him. I don't know if he took the ice cream or not. That's left to be seen. We don't know, but I love his personality. I think he's crazy, and I totally dig all the craziness all about him. All right, guys, so please, please, please send me all your questions, or comment below all your questions, because I really want to be able to get back to you and answer as many sports-related questions as possible. In the interim, you can find my Snapchat at Ava Fiore, my Twitter at Cleats Cleavage, and of course, that's also attached to my Periscope, which I'll be doing around once a week or so. And then this is my YouTube channel, so I will be back on here regularly. All right, guys, thanks for all your support. Ciao.